I'm Jimi Hendrix, and this episode is part 3, Don't Look Back, on Empower Your Pattern 2.0. Hi, I'm Jimi Hendrix, Success, Confidence, and Thrive Coach, member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and founder of James Hendrix Empowerment. I believe there are patterns that help us receive more, help us live a better and extraordinary life. It is in this I also want to give spiritual and temporal tips help you live a better and extraordinary life. So if you come with me, I will show you these patterns. Let's go. Okay, guys. Come sit with me here in the wee hours of the morning. First of all, a good shout out to a wonderful friend of mine from Toastmasters, Jack Westerveld, who's currently on vacation. He's been a wonderful mentor and inspiration to me, and I want to be grateful to him about that. Now, you're probably thinking, why are we talking about Don't Look Back? Why part 3? Well, what can I say? It's kind of important to look at that. And we're going to be, in this series, I discovered later on in this series, I want to look at it in another angle here after a while. But that's just how it is. So, now, with that angle, you're probably thinking, why are we doing it? Let's just deal about part 3. Okay, listen to me. We're talking about one of our biggest enemy now. And you're probably thinking, what's my biggest enemy? Fear. What's the biggest enemy? Fear. See, fear can be a weapon to help us look back. Oh, look how terrible things were here. Look how terrible things were there. And, one thing I neglected to say is that self-doubt is double-edged. So you can say, oh, how things looked good back here, how things look good back there, and, and vice versa. Now, fear, it's a total negative emotion. Self-doubt in some ways can be turned around easy by looking at the scriptures and going by biblical principles, if you know what I mean. Now, once I'm talking about fear, we're going to go through the same routine, and we are, because it's important. Who spreads fear? It's our distractive, defiant culture. That's what spreads fear. News media, social media. I can't say too much from entertainment media, although I'm sure they're not too far behind. And who is the author of this distractive, defiant culture? Well, I think it's pretty obvious. Lucifer, the devil, Hasatan, he's behind this. And so that's one of the reasons why I say what I say. Now, I realize that it's been a while back. I've had a lot of wonderful topics. Talked about crowdfunding, which is just something I believe in. I told you guys about how debt is dumb. Debt is one of those things that makes you want to look back. So, don't go into debt. Some people say, well, going into debt for a business is good. Not necessarily. Because debt is one of those things, if you're not careful, can lead to fear. Okay, you see what I mean? So why not use the 1-2 punch on fear? I want you to use faith and calmness. Because you see, in 1 John, it says this, perfect love casts out fear. Now, where does this perfect love come from? It comes from Christ. And if we tap into Him, if we abide in Him, remain in Him, as He is the vine, then we'll make it. You don't, I'm afraid, if you don't abide in Christ, I'm afraid you're going to be asking for trouble. Confidence. You don't get your confidence in the things of this world and expect it to last. No. Your confidence is in Christ. You know, people come to me and they ask, hey, there's still reports of, the technical word for it is COVID-19. I call it the devil virus. My best friend's wife has asked me at times, why doesn't the news report on it anymore? And I said it's because the American people are sick and tired of hearing about it. See, the news media can be a dead horse. And that's why my political show, I'm redirecting the focus. Because here's the thing. There's two emotions that are like a relatively, close first or second cousin. And those are anger and fear. And, okay, you're probably thinking, well, what in the world, why are you, I know you're fixing to repeat. No, not yet. I'm going to say my piece about this. I refuse to live in fear. I tell people that. And then I point to my head, to my mind, and I say, I live in enough fear in here. I know I do. So sometimes what we need to do is to harness the faith and confidence that we have. I remember when the devil virus was becoming rampant in March of 2020. And I was crying out to Heavenly Father, when's it ever going to end? When's it ever going to end? You said it was a light. Tell me where's the light? And he said this, it was pretty common. He said, Jimmy, if you keep focusing on darkness is all you're going to get. Focus on the light. And then it was Good Friday 2020. I was like in a real bad mood. I was depressed and blah, 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 blah. And finally I was like, okay, Heavenly Father, you said there was a light. Tell him to look for the light. What is the light? And then he said, Jimmy, it is the light of Christ. Study about the light of Christ and you'll find your answer. And so I have, and my spirit cheered up. But see, I had to keep looking at that light because it's easy to live in fear. Our culture, other than getting people angry, other than, encouraging people to join like this crazy party bandwagon stuff, I know what's going on. And you cannot afford to look back. Listen to me. You cannot afford to look back. those of you who remember, now I probably mentioned this in part 2. Well, it's perfectly worth mentioning again. And that is this. It's this one thing. The story of Lot and his family leaving Sodom and Gomorrah. And as soon as they were a safe distance from Sodom and Gomorrah, God rained fire and brimstone on that town. And everyone was running and doing okay. But then all of a sudden, Lot's wife had to do the crazy thing of looking back. And those of you who have never read that story in the Bible, you're probably thinking, well, what happened after looking back? She turned into a pillar of salt. Okay? Because you see, you're probably thinking, oh, Jimmy, what do you mean? It's a Sunday morning. Okay? I'm going to preach a little bit. Lot's wife chose friendship with the world over friendship with God. And in some ways you'd think that Lot would learn, but he's seldom mentioned after that. Evidently, unless you choose never to look back, you cannot get the nature that's stuck in self-doubt and fear and all that other stuff. You can't get that out of you. And would you much rather just sit there and, oh, what with me? Look what's going on in the news. COVID. There's a scandal over here. There's a scandal over there. And almost anything. And of course, this show is not for me to comment about what's going on in the news. I'm just telling you that our world system, our society, through this distractive, defiant culture, wants people to cower in fear. They want you to cower in fear. And you don't have to. You don't have to. Don't look back. Whatever you do, please don't look back. Because you deserve better. You look back, you're cutting yourself off from everything that you could possibly want or need successfully. And now with that, I hope you enjoy listening to Empower Your Pattern 2.0. If you like what you hear, please subscribe and become a part of Pattern Realm. It's Jimi Hendrix saying until next time, don't sit there and take it. Build your dreams so you can take it. Do what others don't so you can be what others won't. And do what others won't so you can have what others can. Choose, act, and pursue happiness. God bless you guys. God bless each and every one of you. You guys go out there and have a blessed day.